Spring Training Today is brought to you by Waste Management's Bagster, dumpster in a bag.
Hello everybody and welcome to Spring Training Today. I'm Chris Gasper. Well, the Red Sox continue to ramp up in anticipation of their first games of spring training. Couple of news and notes today down here in Fort Myers. Adrian Gonzalez took what manager Terry Francona termed a regeneration day, took a break from hitting off of the tee. John Lackey threw live BP today, looked very good. He threw to some of the heavy hitters on the team. Kevin Youkilis, Carl Crawford, David Ortiz. He looked good. And reliever Bobby Jenks threw off the mound today. He's been taking it kind of slow here in spring training, but he did throw off the mound. Jenks, an interesting guy. Obviously, the bullpen, an area of need for the Boston Red Sox. That was one area that Theo Epstein wanted to improve. They were 23rd last year in bullpen ERA. Terry Francona didn't always have the options that he probably would have liked to have had back there in that bullpen, but Jenks, certainly a guy who gives Terry Francona more options this year.
Gives us hopefully another guy to complement Bard and getting to Pap, a guy that you don't have to match up with a righty versus lefty. Just, when he's throwing the ball well, just bring him in and let him pitch.
Back here with Nick Cafardo of the Boston Globe, and really, bullpen was an area of need for the Red Sox, Nick, and you go back to last season, they had to call up Dubron and Bowden as reinforcements, and that didn't quite work out, so they really wanted to stabilize that going into the season.
Yeah, depth in bullpens are really one of the most important things on any baseball team that's in contention. If you don't have the depth in the bullpen, the consistency of the bullpen, you're not going to win. It's as simple as that. Theo Epstein recognized that in the offseason and did his best. There were a lot of relievers out there this offseason, and a lot of them did not sign with the Red Sox. They went through 10, 11, 12 deep before they got the guys that were willing to play for this team, and one of them, of course, was Bobby Jenks, who was a closer, and they're banking on the fact that he can, embrace that setup role for the first time in his career, and kind of turn his career around, because he had a lousy year last year. So he's still a question mark. Yeah,
I think he is a question mark. It seems like Dan Wheeler's not, though. Terry Francona, when he talks about him, he mentioned that one of the reasons they like Dan Wheeler is his consistency, and consistency among relievers. That's a rare thing.
Oh, I agree. And Joe Madden loved him, used him in all sorts of different situations, and he tried to keep away from him against left-handers, but his numbers against left-handers were very, very good. So he really knew how to use him correctly. But on this team, he'll be like the 6th inning guy, 7th inning guy. If you need a ground ball late in the game, need a double play, he's the guy to bring in. He throws ground balls, and so they can really mix and match with these relievers now.
Seems like Francona has a lot more options. You mentioned mix and match, Nick, but it seems like he has a lot more options. Terry would never come out and say it because he's so tactful, but it didn't seem like towards the end of the year he maybe had as many options as he's had in the past.
Plus the fact, the closer wasn't consistent, and really, everything has to fall into place getting to the closer for this stuff to work. But then, then you have the situation where the closer wasn't consistent, he was blowing games, and that really sucks the life out of your team when that happens. So, it starts from the bottom up. Papelbon's got to do his job, and I think everything else will take care of itself.
Bullpen's one of those areas where the best laid plans, kind of as the old cliche goes, you can look great on paper, but you never know in terms of performance. For all the latest news and notes on the Boston Red Sox, Nick Cafardo, everybody else down here in Fort Myers, we have you covered on Boston.com.